Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Dino Mosquera and let's queer up the worldview. Of course, the new U.S. ambassador to the Vatican is anti-LGBTQ. The U.S. Senate has confirmed Brian Birch, co-founder and former president of the anti-LGBTQ plus group Catholic Vote, as the next U.S. ambassador to the Vatican. The 49-44 vote fell strictly along party lines, with the Republicans in favor and Democrats opposed. President Donald Trump, endorsed by Catholic Vote during his campaign, nominated Birch in December. Birch has a history of criticizing Pope Francis' queer community outreach. After the Pope approved blessings for same-sex couples in 2023, Birch told Newsmax the move created confusion, claiming LGBTQ activists wanted to totally destroy the Catholic Church understanding of human sexuality. Catholic Vote's social media event even put same-sex couples in quotation marks. Pope Francis' successor, Pope Leo XIV, has reaffirmed that marriage is between a man and a woman, but said the Church will continue same-sex blessings. Birch has accused Francis of a pattern of vindictiveness toward conservatives and opposed his comments encouraging responsible family planning. Catholic Vote under Birch also spread misinformation on gender-affirming care, calling it experimental, and supported the Trump administration's ban on visas for trans women athletes, referring to them as male. In his confirmation statement, Birch said he was, quote, profoundly grateful, end of quote, to Trump and the Senate, noting the coincidence that Pope Leo XIV and he both hail from Chicago. Birch succeeds Democrat Joe Donnelly, who served from 2022 to 2024. Once again, nothing too surprising here from Donald Trump and appointing this guy. You think that the Vatican, at least with Francis, for many of us that were raised Catholics, was kind of like an attempt to get closer to our community in many ways. And even though I don't see myself as a Catholic anymore, but I did recognize his efforts to bring the gays in, the LGBT community in. I hope Leo the 14 doesn't step away from that, and the fact that he's American. But Donald Trump is not giving up and is appointing all these different people that are making sure to spread his agenda, his hateful agenda.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I look at this and I know that we talked about being the ambassador to the Vatican. The technical actually name for it is the ambassador to the Holy See. And that's actually been held by a number of prominent people, including, for this native New Englander, the former mayor of Boston, Ray Flynn. But ultimately, at the end of the day, typically an appointment to this position is made somebody who's typically got a deep-felt religious faith. Joe Donnelly, as they had mentioned, was the predecessor, who was also the senator from Indiana for, I want to say he served one term in there. And he actually ran as a pro-marriage equality candidate. So, goes to show you that even in deep red Indiana, when you have the option, and quite frankly, when your opponent says rape is an act of God, that you can ultimately end up getting elected to a U.S. Senate seat. But ultimately, at the end of the day, this is just, the tip of the iceberg for this administration.
It's on brand.
It's on brand,
right?
It's
not too surprising, right?
Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised by any.
Again, more stuff to throw at us so we don't get the Epstein names, basically.
Yeah,
exactly. Any kind of distraction. But
right? It's all a distraction, Michael.
That's why it's important now. I know people always say it's important now more than ever, but it's important now more than ever to fund organizations that are on the ground doing the work with our community, because the government's not going to do it, so somebody has to,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and think about it. Most people are, when it comes to religion, most are Catholic. You know what I mean? So this affects so many different people. President Trump had appointed him back in December, but now it is that he's finally going to take in office, basically. Is he liked? Do we know if he's liked at all, Gil?
He's tied in with a group called Catholic Vote, and typically I like to call it the Falwell right, the Jerry Falwell right. Typically fall kind of in line with the Catholic Vote group. So this is kind of this is tangential to evangelical, appointing an evangelical to this role.
Scary. Well, that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.